And up next year, man, this fight I'm super looking forward to. Grant Dawson versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. And Grant Dawson, this guy's been looking awesome recently since going to ATT. He's only had the one loss where he got knocked out quick by Bobby Green. And outside of that, he's actually been getting more finishes recently, which has been the big knock on him throughout his career. He's been boring. He just controls. And I believe he's gotten two finishes in his last two fights. If not, he did get a choke and a ground and pound win very recently. So he's been looking a little bit more dangerous on the mat and improving, obviously. But Carlos Diego Ferreira, at 40 years old, but the guy's still an old warhorse, man. The guy's a veteran that is still very much in it. He had a time in his career where he had a long layoff, and I think that helped him kind of still be viable at this point. And he did have some losses. He had that fight with versus Gamrot where he was looking good and then got injured. So at a certain point after that, you're kind of maybe wondering, was this the end of the road for CDF? But came back, got that big knockout over Michael Johnson, and then picked up an upset victory over Mateusz Rebecki where he had to come back through some adversity and look like vintage CDF. So, man, if CDF can show up like he did versus Rebecki, I think this is a really awesome matchup that's going to be very fun to watch. And you look at it, I mean, on the feet, Grant Dawson is going to be faster, and he isn't a zero in the stand-up. Like, he will try to land these long-range weapons like knees. He'll land decent kicks, check hooks, but his durability is a big question mark for me, man. I feel like that Bobby Green knockout, he put him to sleep, and Bobby Green isn't really known as a big puncher. So if CDF can crack him, I feel like he definitely has a big chance to knock him out because CDF is a heavy-handed guy. And you look at CDF, he's hittable at this point in his career. He's definitely gotten a lot slower, but he has a really good chin and he has great cardio and just pressures forward. He is able to take damage, and he believes in his ability to land these switch stance 1-2s, which he's always looking for throughout the whole fight, and big overhands. And he only needs one to connect heavy, and he could change the fight or he could hurt you and finish you. And on top of that, where I'm really excited to see this fight is the grappling from both these guys. Grant Dawson has super good wrestling. His back takes are incredible, and he just has really good back control. But Carlos Diego Ferreira, I mean, this guy's been a motherfucker for wrestlers and grapplers his whole career. The guy's one of the best pure jiu-jitsu guys in the UFC. He is so good at creating scrambles when you do actually take him down, and on top of that, his takedown defense is really high level. And when he gets on top, he's a demon, man. The guy's ground and pound is vicious. He has great chokes, and Grant Dawson is going to be in for it in this fight if he can't figure out how to take this guy down and backpack him and just bleed the clock, because I feel like I don't think he's going to be able to control CDF if he's inside of CDF's guard, or he's going to be very confident in doing that. CDF's going to be rolling for legs and things like that, and he's just going to not allow him to hold him down there. And I don't know if CDF's just going to be an easy back take for Grant Dawson or an easy takedown in general. I mean, we saw a guy like Gregor Gillespie, who's an extremely high-level credentialed wrestler, really, really struggle mightily to take down Carlos Diego Ferreira, and then even Mateusz Gamrot was having issues taking him down as well. So if this fight stays standing, Dawson can be competitive for minutes because of his speed, I feel like, and maybe ATT is going to have him tuned up and ready to go with the stand-up, but I think CDF is just going to be the more experienced, composed guy over time there, and when he connects, he's going to hurt Grant Dawson. And I don't see him being that easy to control. I just feel like this fight should be lying closer. I feel like Grant Dawson has dropped the ball in the past, even though he has the one loss to Bobby Green, and that's it. He had the draw with Ricky Glenn. He had another fight that I can't remember exactly who he was fighting for some reason, but it was a tough fight in that one as well, where he had a more jiu-jitsu based fighter. So I just feel like CDF has a decent chance to win at these odds here. If he comes in, he still looks viable. I feel like all he needs is one punch on the feet to change the fight, and his grappling is top notch. So I think CDF is going to be the side for me here, and I'm going to say he wins via knockout.